Good morning, and we now move into chapter 46 of Isaiah. And we're going to look at the first 7 verses, so let's read it. Bel bows down, Nebo stoops low, their idols are borne by beasts of burden. The images that are carried out are burdensome, a burden for the weary. They stoop and bow down together, unable to rescue the burden, they themselves go off into captivity. So what's Isaiah on about here? And what's God on about? Well, Bel and Nebo were two of the idols that Babylon worshipped, and they had festivals at the New Year time, celebrating these idols. Babylon had been all powerful, had conquered Israel and Judah, destroyed Jerusalem, and taken many of the Jews, the Israelites, off into captivity, and held them under their thumb for many years. So the natural reaction of the Israelites would be to fear Babylon. And God is just pointing, and the nation would have all this splendor. They'd have all this splendor around the worship of these idols. And the world does that today. I mean, communist Russia, maybe still Russia today, I don't know. In China, they have military parades where they portray all their, or some of their military hardware. The woke culture likes to think it's so clever and wise. And God is saying, these images they worship, these ideas that people have, they're worthless. Why do you worship them? Why do you fear them? God is mocking their idols here. And contrast it with what God does for us. He says, their images are carried, they are burdensome, a burden for the weary. Remember what Jesus said. Come to me, all you who are weary, and I will give you rest. These idols don't give people rest. Many of the ideas that our society seems to be living by these days, they don't give people rest. They just put burdens on people. And soon Babylon would be destroyed, would be defeated, and these idols would be carried off into captivity. And God says, listen to me, you descendants of Jacob, all the remnant of the people of Israel, you whom I have upheld since your birth, and have carried since you were born, even to your old age and grey hairs. I am he who will sustain you. I have made you, and I will carry you. I will sustain you, and I will rescue you. Those who worship idols have to carry them. Those who follow ideas and ideologies contrary to what God says, they have to carry them. They have to prove that they're right, and see what such hard work it is. But our God is the one who carries us, and he has done so since the day we were born. I didn't become a Christian until I was 19, but looking back, I know that God is upholding me, even in the days long before that. And he will continue to sustain us even to our old age and grey hairs. And some of us are getting more grey hairs. And we're all getting older. Some of us have made more progress in that front than others. But God is the one who will sustain us. And he will carry us. With whom will you compare me or count me equal? To whom will you liken me that we may be compared? See, there's such a reluctance to trust in God. And when we face difficult situations, we can have a reluctance to trust in God. But it's the only sensible thing to do. If anything, in comparison to what these people who worship idols do. See, sometimes other people can seem to have it all together. See, some pull out gold from their bags and weigh out silver on the scales and hire a goldsmith to make it into a god. They bow down and worship it. They lift it to their shoulders and carry it. They set it up in a place where it stands. From that spot it cannot move. Even though someone cries out, it cannot answer. It cannot save them from their troubles. Again, point God. Some people mock Christianity or mock the Bible. Actually, the Bible is incredibly realistic. As God's saying through these idols, look, they've poured out the gold, they've melted it, got a goldsmith to make this idol. And they bow down to worship this thing, something they created. And they have to carry it. They have to put it in place. It can't speak, can't do anything. You call out to it, it does nothing. How stupid could you be to worship an idol? And many of the ways our society is going, it is utterly stupid. And it doesn't make an ounce of sense. God is the only one who makes sense. Let us trust him. Let us worship him. Let us follow him. Amen.